beautiful morning. Ha! You've got to wake this machine up. It doesn't. It's extraordinarily good at all sorts of stuff, but until it sort of wakes up, so you've got to sort of wake it up. Oh, bother. Beethoven. I thought we were there. Anyway, no one ever created music as beautiful as that of Ludwig van Beethoven. Well, here we are, the spring solstice, as it happens the day before we first had a full countrywide lockdown in Britain on March the 23rd, so it's Monday the 22nd today, March 2021. And we're still in a lockdown, but it's not the same. I mean, it really was. The streets really were empty last year, whereas now people are getting much more savvy. Anyway, in whatsoever state I find myself, therewith to be content. Well, here's my little state. I'm warm and dry. Food in the house, obviously fresh, clean drinking water. I've come across, she found me or through YouTube, but there we go. There's 4 notes. Her name's Agathia. She's what's called an old believer. So apparently the Russian Orthodox Church had a big split in the sort of mid-1600s. And I know very little about it, but anyway, the old believers wouldn't go with the new ways, and they were persecuted, and they had to sort of trek off into the bush and then into what's called the taiga, Taiga, in far, far, far off, so far away, man. Russia is so big, and lived off there in the mountains and the forests. And this extraordinary human being was all alone, and essentially still lives all alone as far as I'm aware. She's now, I think, 76 years old, but her parents and siblings, everyone had died and gone. And she was just living alone there, and then she was found by some geologists surveying, I think in 1978, and then the story's gone on, and I believe she's quite well known in Russia now. You can just Google Agathia, and there she is. Here he goes. And just the strength of character of that beautiful Christian spirit is really quite extraordinary. And she's living there with a bit of help now, but hewing her own wood and carrying her own water on a classic yoke thing with a couple of old buckets, and storing winter supplies, because I bet it's jolly cold there through the winter. Goats, cheese, and a little bit of hay or crops and grain for bread. There's a lovely picture of a beautiful big loaf of bread out of the oven. Just an extraordinary woman. And then praying the psalms. She's weaving. There's a picture of her weaving too. just keeping herself going all alone for years and years. 27 years, I think, she'd been alone or something. Anyway, to me, it's just extraordinary, this woman. Whereas, here I am in England, I don't like this singing, I don't know, Germanic. Schiller's Ode to Joy, and it gets more. Anyway, now, here we are, coronavirus, well and truly the world still in the grip of the coronavirus, in spite of potentially a way out through vaccination. And everyone's discussing this and that, and indeed sorrows and tragedies in personal lives, and the stress, and the etc., 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 and the financial situation. Where do I hear any discussion about God? Why are we here, us human beings? Well, if you don't know yet, try and listen and see. Just listen. We're here to love God through Christ. Watch this woman Agathia. Oh, Lord. Where is it? Apparently there has been an uptick in faith. People being in straitened circumstances, sort of turning towards God. Well, how about turning to God in good times as well? I've always thought that. Don't just pray to God when you're in trouble. Thank him for your blessings when you're cruising. And I just don't hear it from the West. I really occasionally there are little snippets of faith leaders speaking, but the absolute overwhelming bulk of the news coverage, and I have Radio 4 primarily, I can get the odd BBC World News as well, occasionally. Awful riots in Bristol, setting fire to police vans and stuff, that doesn't, not going to do the cause of peaceful protest much good, is it? Anyway, I know Bristol. I trained as a medical doctor there, or was training as a medical doctor in Bristol, so I do know the place. Awful. I have seen absolutely clearly from the start, I've been making films all the way through, and it's so clear to me, this coronavirus is God saying to mankind, come on, wake up, I'm the boss. You're here to love me. That's why us human beings are here. I have no doubt about this, why we're here, and also my take on the underlying reality as a Christian as to what is going on with the coronavirus. And the next one too, thank you very much. If you think God is going to run out of steam, as it were, think again. Until and unless you turn to loving God through Christ, you're heading for the fiery furnace. That is the stark, absolute, clear reality of Christ's teaching. He says, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one shall come to the Father but through me. Amen. God says in the 10 Commandments, I am a jealous God. Thou shalt have no other gods but me. Amen. And I'll say amen to that. Come on, old Beethoven. Aren't I the lucky one? Here I am, sitting pretty, and absolutely, in my estimation, not doing enough. These films are my best attempt to bring the light of Christ to shine through me. I am here now. I have various abilities, but I can certainly speak of my love of God through Christ. Amen.